Welcome to the Astro Guy podcast. I'm not an expert, I'm an amateur like you. I'm here to learn and here to teach. So let's enjoy the ride together. Carpe Noctem, seize the night.
I'm your host, Wayne Zuhl, and this is the Astro Guy podcast. This is a busy episode. Now, unless you've been living under a rock, you've probably been hearing a lot about artificial intelligence, especially ChatGPT recently. In the prior episode of this podcast, I conducted an interview with James Maynard, host of The Cosmic Companion, where we discussed artificial intelligence and its impact on astronomy. I'd urge you to listen or watch the video. I think you'll find it very interesting. By mid-March, I'll be releasing another episode where I interview Peter Below, a board member at the AAVSO, that's the American Association of Variable Star Observers. Peter will discuss their mission and he'll share some interesting observations and discoveries that he and other amateurs are making. It will be very interesting. All right, now let's move on to this month's Planet Roundup. For most of March, Mercury is going to be lost in the glow of the sun. However, it makes a brief appearance in the evening skies toward the end of the month, but it will be very low in the west. On March 27th, Mercury will be just less than 1.5 degrees away from Jupiter. You'll need an excellent western horizon, and binoculars will definitely help you try to spot them. See if you can spot the pair just after sunset. In mid-April, Mercury will be at its highest in the western sky at sunset, but either way, it's still not a great apparition this time around to see Mercury. Venus is brilliant in the evening skies, shining brightly around magnitude -4. Only the Sun and the Moon outshine Venus this month. Venus begins the month with a close pass of Jupiter, as the two brightest planets will appear just over 0.5 degree apart on March 1st. This should be stunning to see, but you'll want to make sure that you have a good southeastern horizon to see them. It should be an interesting sight in a telescope with an 85% illuminated Venus and Jupiter with 3 of the 4 Galilean moons lined up on one side of the planet. Hopefully your skies will be clear and you'll be able to catch this wonderful spectacle. Mars is high in the southern skies at the start of March, shining at magnitude 0.37. It's easy to spot in Taurus. By the end of the month, Mars will have dimmed to magnitude 0.87 and will have moved over the border into Gemini. Besides getting dimmer, Mars appears smaller each day, shrinking from 8.1 arcseconds at the beginning of the month to only 6.4 arcseconds at the end of March. Now is the time to try to spot some details on the red planet, as it sets earlier each evening during March. On the 29th and the 30th, Mars skirts past the open cluster M35 in Gemini, passing just about a degree away from the cluster. The best views of both will come on the 29th. On the 30th, the 9-day-old moon will be less than 30 degrees away and will likely wash out some of the fainter members of M35. Either way, it should still be a lovely sight in a telescope or binoculars. Jupiter is setting very early at the start of March, and around the second week of the month it will begin to get lost in the glow of the sun, until it emerges again in the morning sky later this spring. Saturn is lost in the glow of the sun all month, but it will reemerge in the morning skies in April. Uranus is in the west after sunset all month in the constellation Aries. On March 30th, you might be able to glimpse Venus and Uranus in the same field of view in a telescope at low power or even in binoculars. The two planets will be separated by just over 1 degree. However, Uranus is much smaller and fainter than Venus, so it will be challenging to spot. Neptune is lost in the glow of the sun all month, and it too will reemerge in the morning skies in April. Comet C 2022 E3, or Comet ZTF, what the press has been calling the Green Comet, is now fading quickly. At the start of March, the comet will be in Andromeda and is predicted to be around magnitude 10, and will continue to fade as it heads south. It put on a pretty nice show at the end of January going into February, but in my opinion, it didn't live up to the hype that the media was giving it. But for me, I got to practice imaging and processing a comet, so I'm ready for the next bright one when it comes along. Now we're going to move on to explore one of the most famous constellations in the night sky, the Great Bear, Ursa Major, made famous by the Big Dipper asterism, which in much of the world is actually referred to as the Plough. On March evenings, the constellation is high in the east and climbs higher as the night goes on, before getting lower in the west. The Big Dipper asterism appears to be standing on the handle of the Dipper, with the bowl appearing above it. By midnight, it's nearly overhead, so this is a great time of the year to enjoy many of the wonders held within it. You can follow the curve of the handle, and it will lead you to the star Arcturus in Bodes. The two stars that make up the end of the bowl of the Dipper, Merak and Dubhe, can be used to easily find Polaris as they point right to it. But besides being a handy constellation to help you find your way around the sky, it has much more to offer. For instance, there's the visual double star that makes up the second star in the handle of the Dipper. Mizar is a second magnitude star, and Alcor is fourth magnitude. The two stars are located only 12 arc minutes away. Can you spot both stars with the naked eye? A lot of people use that as a test for how good their naked eye seeing is. One of my favorite things about Ursa Major is that many of the deep sky wonders that it holds are near the stars that make up the Big Dipper, which makes finding them much easier. If you enjoy observing galaxies, Ursa Major has some of the best examples in the entire sky. An easy pair of galaxies that can be glimpsed with binoculars, but are best seen through a telescope, are the pair cataloged as M81 and M82. M81 is often referred to as Bode's galaxy. It is the larger and brighter of the two, located about 12 million light-years away from us. M81 is a large, bright spiral galaxy that spans 21 by 11 arc minutes, although that figure includes the faint outer spiral arms. The galaxy shines at magnitude 6.94, making it an easy target for binoculars. In a telescope, you can easily see the bright core and the beginnings of the inner spiral arms. This galaxy has been studied by astronomers, and it contains a supermassive black hole at its core that has the mass of 70 million suns. Located a little more than half a degree north of M81 is M82, which is known as the Cigar Galaxy because of its shape. It is a starburst galaxy that we see almost on edge, which helps give it its name. M82 is about the same distance from us as M81, but the Cigar Galaxy is a bit smaller and fainter than its neighbor. M82 glows at magnitude 8.4 and spans around 11 by 4 arc minutes. This galaxy has been studied by astronomers for some time. As in long exposure images, it is obvious that something is happening here. At the core of this galaxy is another supermassive black hole that is about 10 million solar masses. In 2010, observations from the Chandra X-ray Observatory suggest that the galaxy also contains an intermediate mass black hole that's between 200 and 5,000 solar masses. The starburst region is believed to be caused by tidal interactions from M81. Astronomers have discovered pulsars there, and there are what look like red streamers emanating from the core of the galaxy. Visually, I've never been able to see the streamers, but the galaxy is stunning in long exposure images. The galaxy is easy to spot, and it's relatively easy to see in binoculars if you're in a dark location. In a telescope at low power, the sight of these two famous galaxies in the same eyepiece view is just magnificent. Locating these galaxies is easy as well. Start with the bowl of the Big Dipper. The bottom star closest to the handle is magnitude 2.44 Phecta. This is where you'll start. Just imagine a line going northwest from Phecta to magnitude 1.79 Dubhe, which marks the top right end of the bowl of the Dipper. Now follow that line for an additional 10 degrees and you should see the galaxies in binoculars or a low-powered field. Another famous galaxy in Ursa Major is the famous Pinwheel Galaxy, M101. This beautiful face-on spiral galaxy spans about 28 arc minutes in diameter, almost as large as the full moon. Yet, it is located nearly 21 million light-years away. This is a great example of a face-on spiral galaxy. M101 glows at magnitude 7.9, but it has relatively low surface brightness due to its size, so this is best seen under dark skies. I've been able to spot this galaxy with 7x50 binoculars from a moderately dark site. In a telescope, your best views will come at low power, as this is a large object. To locate the pinwheel is an easy task. The galaxy forms an equilateral triangle with Alkaid, the star that marks the end of the Dipper's handle that's furthest from the bowl, and the visual double star Mizar and Alcor. If you're using an equatorial mount, find Mizar and move 5.5 degrees east, and you should see the galaxy. Another easy galaxy to find is M109, which is sometimes referred to as the vacuum cleaner galaxy, although I don't quite get that reference. M109 is a bit fainter at magnitude 9.8, but the galaxy only spans 7x4 arc minutes, so once you find it, you should be able to easily see the brighter parts of this galaxy. This barred spiral galaxy is the furthest of all the Messier objects, lying at a distance of about 84 million light-years away from us. In a telescope, the brighter core and parts of the bar section are easily visible. Some people are able to spot a dark area between the bright core and the area just outside it. It is tough to spot, and will likely require at least an 8-inch telescope under excellent observing conditions to see it. To find M108, we'll start at the star Phecta and sweep 0.5 degree east, and then nudge your scope south about 1/4 degree, and you should see the galaxy. On the other end of the bowl of the Dipper lies 2 more Messier objects that you can enjoy. M97 is commonly referred to as the Owl Nebula. It is a planetary nebula, or the remains of a dying star. It's very likely that this is similar to what will happen to our Sun in 4 to 5 billion years. The Owl is small, spanning only 3.4 arc minutes, and under very dark skies with at least an 8-inch scope, you should be able to make out the dark areas marking the eyes of the owl. A nebula filter will definitely help to increase the contrast. The nebula itself glows dimly at magnitude 9.9 and is located just over 2,000 light-years away from us. As far as planetary nebulae go, the owl is young, at an estimated age of about 8,000 years old. At this age, the nebula is still less than 1 light-year across. To locate the owl, start at 2nd magnitude Merak, the bottom right star in the bowl of the Dipper, and sweep about 1.5 degrees south till you come to a magnitude 7.5 star. Then sweep 1.5 degrees east until you come upon a magnitude 6.5 star. Now nudge your scope about 1/4 degree further east, and you should spot the nebula. Located a mere 3/4 degree northwest of the owl lies our final object for this month, M108, often referred to as the Surfboard Galaxy. So if you can find the owl, M108 is nearby, and it should fit in a low-power eyepiece along with the owl. The Surfboard is a barred spiral galaxy that glows dimly at magnitude 10. The galaxy spans 8.5 by 2 arc minutes, with most of the light concentrated in an oval on the core of the galaxy. M108 lies at a distance of just over 28 million light-years away. This is one of my favorite galaxies to observe, but it's best seen in a 4-inch or larger telescope. Dark skies will definitely help you pick it out of the background. So, as you can see, Ursa Major has let us enjoy objects relatively near and extremely far away. I hope that you'll enjoy many hours of exploring what this constellation has to offer. Well, that's all for this episode. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I hope that you found our time together to be fun and helpful. If you have questions or episode suggestions, please email us at astroguypodcast@gmail.com or leave us a text or a voicemail at 973-404-0380. If you're not already a member, please join the Astro Guy podcast group on Facebook. You'll find other members, videos, blogs, and lots of other useful information there for your enjoyment. I also urge you to visit our YouTube channel, the Astro Guy Podcast, for past episodes and other surprises. Please subscribe. Please consider leaving us a review on your podcast platform. It helps us to get new listeners. Thank you again for listening, and may your skies be clear. As always, carpe noctem, seize the night.
I'm Wayne Zool, and this was the Astro Guy Podcast. Thank you for listening. As always, your questions, comments, and suggestions are welcome. Keep wondering. Keep your eyes on the sky. Have fun. Carpe noctem. Seize the night.